Hey everyone, I'm Scott Davenport, and
I'm Spencer. Howdy. So nonchalantly walking into
just
frame.
nonchalantly came into frame. So this is we're photographers in cars. Welcome to our newest episode yet, and this is a little bit of a different photographers in cars.
It is. We're sitting in the butt of the car.
Yes, some would call it the back, the boot for our friends in the UK.
I call it the butt.
Yeah, das Boot for our friends. Actually, that's boat in German, so that doesn't help our German friends.
As you can see,
yeah, exactly. You can see we are literally just parked on the side of the street. This is how we do the podcast. So today it's all about like the behind the scenes of what do we really do to put this thing together.
Yeah.
So
and you'll find it's actually not very much.
It's a small amount of gear. It really is. It's actually not too terrible. Well, actually, maybe you can tell us if you think this is overwhelming. But at the end of this, you should have appreciation for what we do. And if you wanted to start your own multicam podcast,
keyword multicam,
you'll have some ideas on how to go do that. So
let's get to it.
We got to get set up.
Yeah.
So let's get started.
Check out these wheels, man. Yes, let me get back in frame.
Yeah, you're in frame. All right.
There we go.
Welcome. Nobody's in frame right now.
Yeah.
What we've done now is we've made it a bezeled edge that's only 4.3 millimeters of brushed aluminium, unlocked with your face. What could be simpler than your face? You recorded me doing my Johnny Ive? We got the
camera angles are checked.
We're all good on felt 3. You clapped it out.
I clapped it out.
You clapped it out. So
now
we're
we exit only
in.
to enter again. Yeah. Close all the doors. Close the doors.
Dang it! I pulled the thing. We gotta do it again.
Yep, exactly. Oh, 3, 2, 1. Here we go in the car.
Oh my god. No, now we gotta do it one more time.
No, listen,
because you didn't press the button.
Oh my god!
All right, out.
Okay. It's really been such a long.
It has been a while.
Oh man, I almost closed the door on my own like this is a regular car.
So all right. So we've gotten through the setup.
Yes.
We're in the car now.
Angles are checked.
We clapped it out, and why don't we cover some of the gear that we've been using to do all this stuff? So, as you saw, we had 3 different cameras in the dash.
Mm-hmm. But they're all the same camera.
All the same camera. So they're all this guy here.
The Sony RX0.
I should turn that off. So the Sony RX0s.
Let me close this.
Let's close our windows because, as you can tell, we are in real spots. There's an interesting neighbor up there who keeps checking us out, but that's all right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're using these little RX0s to do the recording. You know a lot more about the tech specs on these things than I do. I just know that
I'll rattle them off
they're
real
small,
fast.
they're lightweight, and
waterproof. They're shockproof. There's tiny production cameras, 1-inch sensor, really nice low light sensitivity.
Yeah.
But they go through batteries like way fast, as you probably have seen in previous episodes.
We've had a few outages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually get about an hour out of it, and so that's usually enough to get a show in for sure.
One of the reasons we chose these cameras is because you may have seen on our actually, if you wouldn't mind recording this, we can have multicam setup of all the cameras. One acts as a hub, so if you can record what we're seeing here with all of these cameras, we can see. You see my fingers right there.
You see your fingers right there too.
So you can see all the angles from this whole thing. It creates a network, and so it's super useful for us to just start recording.
Yeah, very easy to check angles and so forth. So you're not constantly having to go look at the back of the camera, or one of us is outside of the car, and it gets a little more challenging for the center camera. Speaking of the center camera, so we've got these just little suction cup mounts for the sides, and you keep these on your car permanently. They're basically like decoration now.
They're so low profile, and because when we set them up, when I take them down, we set them up, we always miss something and it doesn't look right. So once we honed in on the angles we wanted, I just leave them up. They're so low profile that they don't get in my way.
Yeah.
But the center one is always the one that kind of takes a while to set up, just because depending on where we're at, the elevation that we want the camera to be, there's this little thing called the platypod.
Right. I think we've talked about it before. Yeah, I've got pictures of it.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, we've got all that stuff already. It's
okay.
The magic of nonlinear editing. We're still working on that, but good news is Spencer's scheduled for shock treatments next week.
Yes,
and, he is on medications.
Yeah, I'm slowly beginning to understand what people call the technologies.
Yeah, the technologies of the worldwide spaces of the planet
and time shifting.
But anyway, the platypod. This one's taken a little while to get fine-tuned.
The reason why is because it has 4 independent legs that you have to get in order for you to get a level surface.
Right.
In a car, in a car situation like where we're at right now, it's overkill for what I did when I go on, or for what I do when I go on travel. A lot of times when I want that low angle, it's super useful because it's got a little pointy area, like a sharp thing that can go in rocks, and then it also has these nice soft nibbins just in case I want to protect the surface I'm on. But in a car, it's overkill. But I have it. I might
we'll use it. Yeah, I mean, that's great. I mean, because you're not going to fit a tripod up there, and if we ever. Well, I think in episode one, which was called Janky Setups.
Yeah.
It was, duct tape and books and things wedged
we had
together.
Gaffer's tape.
It was really, really terrible. Yeah. Yeah. So that's really kind of the setup of it. And then
during this time of year, we actually have some decent light at this hour.
Right.
The sun is going to set, I want to say in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So when it sets, that's when we need to bust out lights. And I have a variety of lights. I mentioned them before, but we've got these little lume cubes. What I do is sometimes I have them external to the car facing in. Sometimes they're in the car reflecting on something, but these things get bright, so we have to remember
they really need to be low. When we have guests in the car, we usually have one in the back that's lighting up the guests, because this car, it's got glass all the way up to above our heads, so it's tinted a little bit, but you're still getting ambient light. But the back seat's dark.
It is dark.
Yeah, so those are really helpful. And then the other thing that you usually have, you may have them with you, is those big, long, we call them lightsabers. And I think we've shown these before, but one of those will go either up underneath the dash, or we'll put one on the floor.
It's called the light stick.
The light stick. Okay.
Yeah, so the light stick has light, different temperatures, so that way I can get the nice little cool light. And if I push that button, I get the warmer light.
Right. Yeah, the warmer light, I would say interior, always seems to make us look very orangey yellow.
It does.
Yeah, so if you're outside, that'd be great.
If no one's in the back and I just want to kick some light back there just to give us some separation, the warm light is not bad.
Right, yeah.
So,
and so I'm trying to think what else gear-wise. I mean, that's kind of the setup. And after that, it's us, chit-chatting, rapping, interrupting each other, all the stuff that we normally do. You saw at the beginning the whole clapping it out thing. The reason for that is to get a sync point between all the cameras for audio. So when all this footage goes back into a computer, if you have software that will align those waveforms, it'll find that right away and you're good to go. Or you can do it manually. Just look for the big spike. So if you're doing, multicam stuff and you need to manually align your cameras, there's a way to do it. It's a little more work.
The technologies.
Yeah, the technologies.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the Adobe Premieres and the Final Cut Pros of the world, those are fantastic for multicam editing. It will really speed up your worflow.
I'm so glad you do that stuff. If it were up to me, you get a weekly episode every other month.
Ooh. It's like yesterday's solutions tomorrow.
Yeah. And then a character of the show, we've got the
jug.
We've got this 40-ounce beast, which is how come I have to pee so much
all the time.
This thing here.
Yeah, he's got the bladder of a bird.
You gotta keep hydrated though.
You do, Actually, yeah, really. I mean, because your throat gets dry and from talking and so forth. So, I'm trying to think. Have we forgotten anything about the setup or about
Look at that!
All this stuff is going on.
Look at that!
That's gonna get fussed out. Don't worry about
it. It is. We're talking.
He's looking out at the sunset, which you got about 5 minutes now. He opened the window, and now it's no longer tinted. You might be able to see a little bit of it from Gcam here.
This is how we do. I'm gonna go show the image I just took. It's janky, but it's still it's beautiful.
It's okay. Yeah, you have a beautiful picture of the street sign.
It's a street sign
that is beautifully lit. It is a beautifully lit street sign.
You had to be there, man.
Yeah, I wish you guys were here. But then again, you are. Well, I guess this is it. This is the behind-the-scenes show, and now we're ready actually to start a show. So, great.
See you next week.